Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today for you guys is another MCU movie review. Hey, it's not a year. Today we're tackling Doctor Strange 1, aka Doctor Strange. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this review. Subscribe if you're new. It's free. It takes a second. Really helps me out. Anyway, Doctor Strange was a movie that kind of, when it released, you know, it was one of those movies that it's kind of, I don't want to say a B-list character, but, you know, not many people knew about Doctor Strange. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a, who's Doctor Strange? He's kind of freaking weird, you know, kind of thing. But then the movie came out, and obviously everyone effing loved it. I don't remember seeing it in theaters. However, every time I think about this film, every single freaking time I think about Doctor Strange, I go, yeah, it's alright. It's fine. You know, I don't really remember it. It's okay. You know, it's like a Captain Marvel or a Hulk or an Iron Man 2. You know, not bad, but not the most amazing thing in the world. And then I watched it last night, and no, it's not the most amazing thing in the world. It's not even the best MCU film, but it's a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. It was better than what I remember. I mean, the movie's a lot darker than I remember. I thought it was, you know, oh, you know, there's a little bit of action, and there's some crazy, you know, crazy powers, and it's just, it's like a guy, like the movie literally FA opens with the guy getting beheaded, and then, like, you know, obviously there's action and all that, and people getting grinded up, and then there's like a freaking, the ancient one, played by Tilda Swinton, you know, the bald chick. She, like, gets kicked out of a portal. This is later on in the movie. She gets kicked out at a portal, and then effing, like, smashes through a glass awning, and just thud, hits the ground. I'm like, oh shit, I said that out loud. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, I don't remember that, you know what I mean? It's crazy. But, you know, you take away the brutality of it, which, again, I didn't expect there to be that much of from what I remember. It is a fun movie. I think it takes a good premise of Dr. Stephen Strange, who is kind of this a-hole billionaire. I guess he's a billionaire. We don't really know. He makes a lot of money. He's a neurosurgeon or whatever. He's a guy that puts your brain back together, and you know, he's really good at his job. And he's kind of an a-hole. He's kind of stereotypical, like, oh, I'm rich and I'm cool and I'm better than you. You know, he's got all the crazy Rolex watches. He's driving his cool Lambo, and of course, that's when stuff hits the fan, and he crashes the car because he's being a freaking moron. I've never gotten into a car wreck. I'm not the biggest fan of driving, but I don't intend on getting into a car wreck. So, word of advice, when you're in a damn car, don't look at your phone, please, or whatever he was doing, his screen or his tablet or his whatever the fudge, you know what I mean? Just don't do it, because obviously, you know, the wreck in this, you can tell the car's a bit CGI, but it's funny. It's rated PG-13 for an intense crash sequence. I've never seen a movie rated anything for an intense car crash. It wasn't even that intense. I don't know, whatever. I guess they just had to put it in there for people that, like, experience car crashes, or maybe, I don't know. But, you know, like I said, I've never been in one. I don't plan on it, but it sucks because he got his effing hands all jacked up. You know, they kind of, like, bended back or whatever. And that's fun, I guess. But obviously he gets, you know, a different surgeon, and the movie kind of opens off kind of depressing, I guess. You know, like, you look at the cover of Doctor Strange, you're thinking action, badass stuff, and magic, right? And you get that, but you also get, you know, kind of an opening where it's Steven, and, you know, he's going from hero to zero, basically, and he's kind of left with nothing, and he's getting mad at his girlfriend or his friend, Cat something? Not Cat something. It's not Cat. It's Catherine or Katie or Kalulu. I don't know. It's one of the two. And, you know, she's good in this, obviously. I don't remember her name. Figures. But she's doing great, of course, and, you know, everyone's good in this, but I just don't remember her name. And Steven's freaking out, and he kind of loses her, and he's kind of left with nothing, and he kind of overhears this guy being like, hey, I went to this one place in not Kunlun, that's Iron Fist, in Bangladesh or whatever, and he's like, oh, cool, I'll go there. So he goes, and that's, of course, when it all happens, and he meets the Ancient One, and he meets the magic, and really, he's only doing it to kind of, you know, I guess, fix his hands, or, you know, just figure out a way to live. And then obviously he becomes Doctor Strange, and you know, he's not the Sorcerer Supreme yet, but he's kind of in league with that. And from there, you know, hijinks ensue, and Caecilius, played by Mad Milkman, as I call him, and you know, basically the stereotypical bad guy and everything that isn't Giancarlo Esposito. And from that, you know, look, I guess we'll talk about him for a minute. The villain isn't effing. He's not bad. Obviously, you know, when this movie came out, it was a big deal. Oh my God, he's such a bland villain. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. Like, his whole motivation is to basically call on Dormammu, you know, the Dark Dimension, and summon this ancient evil power to kind of manipulate reality, I guess, so that time doesn't stop and no one dies and everything's all happy and good, which would be freaking great. But obviously, you know, you look at Dormammu. I don't really trust the guy. So, obviously, Doctor Strange and the other sorcerers are trying to stop this dude. He is evil. He's pretty crazy. There's some good action scenes. There's a really funny moment where he's kind of walking backward like a robot. He's trapped in this weird like body thing. There's a lot of this stuff I straight up didn't remember. Like there's really good effects. You know, you look at the newer Marvel movies, and you know some of them hold up well, but some of the newer MCU stuff is like, how's that in a multi-billion-dollar franchise? You know, I mean, I don't know about that one. This one though, the CGI does really hold up. It looks really nice. And of course, there's a lot of imaginative stuff and creativity in this. I mean, you look at the cover, you know, the city is literally bending backwards. You look at the back cover, I mean, they got the freaking, you know, it's all out of whack, it's all out of order. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff in this movie where, you know, they're running through the city and all that, and skyscrapers are changing and the cars are tilting and stuff like that. And what could easily be very nauseous, you know, nausea-inducing and just kind of confusing and what the fudge is going on, thankfully, none of it is like that. It's actually very well, you know, paced when it's storytelling, and it's also very well made in terms of, you know, what's going on with. It's easy to track. You know, it's not like what's going on. Like you're able to view it and understand what's happening, even with the city freaking out and doing all this crazy stuff. Again, this is essentially a whole new universe of rules and lore. The first time in the MCU, so we're getting the sorcerers, we're getting the you know, the mirror dimension, Dormammu, and all these crazy spells and all that, and the Book of Vishanti and whatever, and the thing with time, it's an Infinity Stone. So there's a lot of stuff in here, and it could have easily fallen into the trap of, oh, this is too confusing, I don't give a crap, you know. But thankfully, it isn't, and it's actually really fun in the process. Again, I genuinely didn't remember half of this movie. I remember the end battle scene being really boring. Apparently, it really wasn't. It's not as action-packed as other, you know, MCU movies, especially like, you know, the last one, Civil War. But they are in, I think they're in Tokyo or Hong Kong or something. I think that's the same place. But they're, you know, they're in an Asian area at night, and stuff is going crazy. And of course, Doctor Strange kind of uses his spells to kind of trick Dormammu. There's some really good stuff that happens there. Again, the 2 post-credit scenes with Baron Mordo. I don't really know. I mean, we see him again in Doctor Strange 2, but it's like a different version. It's a variant, so we'll have to see if that ever, you know, plays out in the future. But overall, man, like I freaking like this movie, man. Like, I don't know, it's not my favorite ever, but I remember it being kind of bland and, you know, good, but just not as memorable as what I wanted. And after watching this, man, I think they did a good job. Like, again, I think I might have to change my mind on this movie a little bit. I mean, the comedy works better than some other Marvel movies. You know, I like the CGI, I like the action, I like the story, I like the lore, I like the medical stuff, which we didn't even really talk about yet. You know, the medical scenes where you know, they don't show straight up surgery and shit like that, you know, with blood and guts and all that. There's actually, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Saw. I don't know which one it is. One of the Saw movies. I haven't seen them. I don't want to see them. But in one of the Saw movies, Kramer or whoever the fudge, some old boomer is getting brain surgery, and you literally see like his open skull and his brain, you know, like that. And the reason why it's in the movie is because it's actually scientifically accurate to how it would be done in real life. That's why they kept it. Now, obviously, this is a PG-13 movie. Still not a kid's film, but it's not straight up adults only. It's teenagers and adults. So with that, you know, I don't think they didn't really want to show a effing brain pulsating. But at the same time, they do show moderate things. You know, they show people with a little blood on their face when the Asian one hits the ground. I mean, in real life, I think her head would have broke like a watermelon, but I don't want to see that. At least I think. I don't know. I mean, who knows? I never fell from a great distance or saw that. I don't want to, but I'm assuming the head would like a grenade, but who knows? You know, they show a little bit of stuff. They have some leeway with that, and there's a really fun medical scene where, you know, Stephen Strange gets stabbed by one of the bad guys, and Catherine Katie Cuckoo, whatever her name is, she's working on Stephen, and he's about to die, so he goes out of his body, and he's fighting some other minion. And I don't know, it's really imaginative how, like, they're breaking, you know, they're throwing shit at each other, and, like, it's affecting the real world, and she's like, whoa, what the heck was that? You know, kind of cool stuff like that. So, again, I remember it being good, but I don't remember it being this good. Again, it's not, like, the best film ever, but it's a lot better than what I remember being, and it's a lot of fun. Again, I like the medical aspect. I like the fact that it's kind of a slow burn at the beginning. It really takes its time on where this character is and how he gets to the situation. And this point, again, the CGI holds up. It's very imaginative. Again, it could have easily been very confusing in the process, you know, just kind of disorienting with all the stuff happening with the magic and all that. But they actually made it work. It's really crazy. So as far as negatives, I really don't have that many. I mean, I don't want to give it an A+ because I don't feel to me this doesn't. To me, it doesn't pop as an A+ film like The Last Jedi. You know what I mean? But again, as far as negatives, I couldn't find it. I mean, maybe my only nitpick would be some of the comedy. Again, like, you know, Stephen Strange is talking to Wong. He's like, Madonna, Beyonce, Eminem, and I'm like, the joke stopped being funny 6 effing names ago. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. MCU, as I said in my Civil War review, it's like Ninjago, right? you can get certain things right with it primarily works the best when it's not trying to be super duper funny in your face. Some of them are meant to be funny, like Guardians and Ant-Man, but this one really isn't like a comedy. So I get it, they wanted to give Steven some humanity, but some of the jokes didn't land, for me at least, a little bit cringy. But other than that, dude, I love this movie, man. Like, I was struggling to think of negatives. So I was like, this is a good movie. Like, I really enjoyed everything. Stanley cameo was funny. Again, I like the action. Maybe the villain's a bit bland. His motivation isn't 100% the best in the world. I get where he's coming from, but, there isn't like a backstory or something. He's not, Caecilius isn't like Loki or Thanos, you know what I'm saying? Or the Winter Soldier, stuff like that. So, there are better villains out there, but overall, I had a fun time with Doctor Strange. I didn't give a grade to Civil War. Probably give that like an A. I'm going to give this one an A-. I think, some of the comedy didn't land and all the stuff that I mentioned as far as slight negatives. But overall, it's a lot better than what I remember. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm really glad I did rewatch it, obviously, for the series, because, man, it's a pretty good movie. Tell me in the comments down below what you think about Doctor Strange, and what's your favorite Doctor Strange movie so far between this one and Multiverse of Madness. Again, we'll review that one way down the line, but we'll be getting to it, don't worry. Anyway, I had a lot of fun with this one, and yeah, the next one is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.